come Jamaica. First team out for this 4x400 meters relay. The final. Chrisanne Gordon. The team led by Anastasia Leroy, Tiffany James and Genevieve Russell completing a strong quartet. Here are Italy. They'd thought about that. Trevisan, Lokudu, Foloronso and Chigbolo. They know how to celebrate, they know how to make an entrance. Here are the Canadians, what have they worked on? A big wave. Maya Stevens, Madeline Price, Alicia Brown and the Canadian champion Sage Watson. High hopes for Great Britain, big waves to the crowd. Emily Diamond, Lavia Nielsen, Zoe Clark and Amy Alcock will run the anchor leg. This is the team though going to extend an imperious run from 4x400 meters competition at the World Relays. The US, Jade Stepter, Shakima Wimbley, Jessica Beard and a world indoor champion Courtney Okolo. The dangerous Poles, European champions. Holub Kovalek, Višković, Kilbasinka and Sweetie Ercetic will anchor them. Now Switzerland. Leah Sprunger brings huge experience. Yasmin Geiger, a World Under-20 bronze medalist on the anchor. And here are the French. Experienced Brossier. And there's 23-year-old Amandine Brossier, who will be on the anchor.
Yeah, the French team's made a lot of changes from the heat to the final. I think what they're trying to do is just give some of their athletes some experience. They've qualified for that all-important World Championships later in the year, so they're probably just bleeding some of their depth out and seeing what their athletes are capable of in a pressure cooker of a final situation. As we see the Great Britain team setting up with Clark. Sorry, Diamonds on first for Great Britain. They've got a quality lineup and they've also got depth. I think Lavia Nielsen's a really big talent who's running the second leg. She at 16 carried the bag for Jessica Ennis, the heptathlete gold medal at the 2012 London Olympics, and on hearing the crowd roar, she decided that's what she wanted, so came out here and here she is. She's doing a fantastic job. She was brilliant last year at the Europeans. She keeps taking her personal best down. She's got an identical twin sister. They're models off the track, which isn't a surprise. They're good-looking young ladies.
And Poland, of course, the European champions, in a rich vein of form when it comes to individual and relay running at the moment. Emily Diamond, silver at the World Championships. They were third in the Europeans. They've changed their order as well for this final.
Yeah, they have. They're leading off with Diamond. Diamond was the anchor in the heat. And they've moved Clark from the lead-off leg to the third leg. So they're probably doing the same sort of thing, trialling out a few different things. I think the quality team here has to be, that we're going to be looking at, is the USA team. Courtney Okolo looked amazing on the heat last night, running the anchor leg, and I think she's got a lot more left to give.
Jade Stepter will be on the opening leg, a fine hurdler as well as being a flat runner. Let's meet them all. And the roars for Jamaica. And then the Italians in lane 8. Chigbolo on the lead leg. We saw Chrisanne Gordon, who will lead off for Jamaica. Maya Stevens of Canada. Emily Diamond, who we've talked about, in lane 6, Great Britain. Just inside them, the United States. That's going to be a real tussle between those two. And this team will come right into the mix as well. The Poles in lane 4. Holub Kovalek on the lead leg. And then Leah Sprunger, European champion over 400 indoors and over hurdles outdoors. And now France on the inside lane too. Rossier, the 29-year-old, adding some experience to their opening leg. So they're called into the blocks. The two B finals completed in the 4x400 meters. Now this for world relay victory. France in 2, Switzerland 3, Poland 4, USA 5, Great Britain 6, Canada 7, Italy 8, Jamaica 9. This is the women's 4x400 meters relay final here in Yokohama. They are away first time. But keep an eye on the United States, absolutely imperious in this competition. They've won all 6 relays in the 4x400 meters in both male and female competition since the inception of the relays, and Jade Stepter has gone out very well in lane 5 for the US, and she's right up on the shoulder of Emily Diamond in the centre of the picture. Chrisanne Gordon running blind in the Jamaican best in yellow, working hard before she hands over to Anastasia Leroy, but Jade Stepter's started pretty well. Leah Sprunger of Switzerland has been running in lane 3 and is just tiring a little bit in this home straight. The poles to be considered as well. Let's watch for the first handover now, as the Americans will hand over with Shakima Wimbley, a relay gold medalist in London. Jamaica with Anastasia Leroy, but it's the United States coming off the break who are going to have the lead and are going to prove to be the team to beat. The poles up there as well. Britain with some work to do. Lavia Nelson has the baton for them.
And it's the tallest woman to ever win a sprint title for Lauder Valef. It's Wimbley, who's 6'2" out there. She is very tall, and she's got a 6-metre lead over Jamaica, who are closing that gap, but she looks very strong out there in the lead.
She's run some of the fastest sprint times in relays, Shakima Wimbley, and she's got the lead for the United States at the moment. There's a real tussle going on behind between the Jamaicans and the Poles, who Viskovic have run a really good leg as well. Britain a little bit further back down the field. And also in there, Switzerland, Humer, as the handover cries go out, and the US hand from Wimbley to Jessica Beard, and the US still lead from Poland. Kilbasinska has got the baton for them. The Jamaicans, having just dropped back a little bit, now have Tiffany James, a World Under-20 champion, in possession of the baton and moving down that back straight.
Beard has that low arm action. She looks extremely relaxed as she's coming up to the 200-metre mark. She's got a great lead, but we can see that the Jamaicans are coming back into this race and closing that gap quickly.
Zoe Clark of Great Britain is trying to just reattach herself to that leading group, but it's the US who still have the lead. Beard, though, has been unable to shake off Tiffany James, and the Poles right up on the shoulder, and as they say, they've got a closer, because Sweetie Ersitic is waiting for the baton, and this is going to be close. They go to the last 400, and the Poles have now got the lead. The Americans faded badly in that last 50 metres, and Justina Sweetie Ersitic has now got the role of anchoring the Poles. She's done it in the Europeans to useful effect, and 1 gold for them there, and she's got to hold off Geneve Russell, and the Americans' record could be at threat here, because Courtney Okola's got some work to do.
Well, it's interesting. Polish move wide, which doesn't usually happen, has led Jamaica through the inside. I wonder how much all that running yesterday is going to leave in the legs of Ersitic.
Can the Americans maintain their unbeaten run? Okola's going to have to produce something pretty special in the home straight. Sweetie Ersitic is coming back for the Poles. Okola's coming through for the United States. This is going to be a knife-edge finish, but Poland are going to break the American dominance in the 4x4. The Americans reached out to second, and it is Poland, European champions, and now world relay winners in Yokohama, with a sensational run from that quartet. And Ersitic celebrates with her teammates. 3:27.49 for Poland's victory here in Japan.
I'm in shock. I'm in absolute shock. It is not often that you don't see a 4x400 metres in the females won by the US or the Jamaicans, but everything Sweetie Ersitic touches of late in this 400 metres just turns to gold. She had a fantastic Europeans last year. She is superbly fit. She is able to back up race after race. That was just amazing. And the Italians, they had some brilliant legs in their quartet as well. Florenzo really got them back into that race, and to finish with the bronze, amazing.
What a bunch-up as well it was in that home straight. And Okolo just with a little bit too much to do. It was the Americans really in the last 50 metres of the third leg who saw that lead evaporate.
It was, you know, that's the thing with 400 metres. If you just get that pace judgment wrong, then you pay for it at the back end. And that's what we saw with Beard for America as she was coming in to pass that baton to Okolo. She really lost momentum, and the change was nowhere near as good as the other three on the outside. And they accelerated out of that changeover better than Okolo. She still ran a really great leg, but it was too much work to catch up with quality athletes in front of her.
The other thing we must talk about as well is that the Jamaicans were actually pushed all the way down to 5th in the end. Ran out of legs, Denise Russell, in the final leg.
Well, that happens when, you know, I just haven't seen a 4x4 finish like that for so long. Look at them across the screen, and Sage Watson's run a great leg too for Canada, closing fast, but you know, there's nothing you can do when that bear jumps on the back and you get lactic like poor Russell got in the back end. She still held her form well, but it's all about the poles. What a fantastic quartet of runners they have found themselves with leading into a World Championships and an Olympics. They are very successful, and they're a close group. You can see how excited they are to take home that gold. What brilliant, brilliant scenes from the women's 4x4.
And the Polish flag will fly proudly in Yokohama. And delight for the support staff who can see themselves on the big screen. The US second place, and that shouldn't be forgotten, that yet again they continue a fine run, but it just goes to show how dominant they've been in this event, that there's almost that element of saying, well, only second. I mean, it was a second place finish, but considering that they had been unbeaten in world relays and indeed have been so dominant at World Championship and Olympic level as well.
You can almost see on the face of the United States athletes that they're happy with the medal, but you can still see some of that disappointment because they know that they have the talent to cross that line first in the 4x400. But I think this is going to be a wake-up call for them. There are other countries that are starting to really work hard on the relays. As we see one of the Polish athletes step away because she actually has the mixed relay coming up later, and there's not much time in the turnaround.
And we've seen the Italians celebrating already this evening. They know how to mark a special achievement, and a fantastic performance to come through almost from nowhere really and get that third place.
Paula Kulik on the screen. She was the Polish champ last year. She's got a low 51-second personal best. They've got some great athletes, and I think that the US and some of the other countries are going to be starting to keep their eye on the Polish 4x4 leading into the majors coming up this year and next year.
Confirmation of a sensational result in the women's 4x400 meters relay. Victory for Poland, breaking the long streak of United States success at World Relays in 4x400 meters. They were edged out to second place, and the Italians came through in a thrilling finish to get third.